This 1,839 plantation portrait looks peaceful until you see what's hidden in the servant's hand. Dr. Catherine Wright stood in the Charleston Historical Archives, her eyes fixed on a daguerreotype donated anonymously 5 days earlier. The photograph showed the Thornton family of Charleston, South Carolina, posed on their plantation veranda in 1839. Colonel William Thornton sat centered, his wife beside him, their 4 children arranged perfectly. Behind them stood 6 enslaved servants in formal attire. Catherine adjusted her magnifying loupe, studying the image. At first glance, it seemed typical wealthy planters displaying their prosperity. But something about one servant's posture troubled her. The man stood slightly forward, his left hand positioned oddly against his side. She leaned closer, her pulse quickening. In the servant's left hand, partially hidden by shadow, was something impossible. A small metallic object, deliberately concealed but carefully angled toward the camera. In over 300 plantation photographs she'd examined, she'd never seen an enslaved person holding anything in a formal portrait. Everything was controlled, designed to present a specific vision of the antebellum South. "This shouldn't exist," Catherine whispered. Catherine researched the Thornton family. Records showed Colonel William Thornton owned Oak Hill Plantation, employing 63 enslaved workers in 1839. The daguerreotype was created by Edmund Pierce on March 22, 1839. She examined Pierce's other work. None showed servants holding anything. Using specialized imaging software, the metallic object became clearer. Small, cylindrical, with intricate markings. Her colleague, Dr. Raymond Foster, examined the photograph. "That's intentional," Raymond said. "He's holding that object to catch light from the reflectors, making sure it registers on the plate without being obvious." They studied the man, late 20s, tall, with eyes that stared intensely at the viewer. Catherine found a letter from April 1839. William wrote, "We've experienced concerning incidents with house servants. I've discovered evidence of literacy among them, a dangerous development. These rebellious notions must be crushed immediately." A bill of sale from May 1839 showed William had sold 4 enslaved men to Alabama, hurried, below market value. Margaret Thornton Hayes, William's descendant, shared her great-great-grandmother Eleanor's diary. March 1839. William commissioned the family portrait today. I noticed Samuel standing peculiarly during the exposure. William dismissed my observation. April 18th, 1839. William has sold Samuel, Moses, Benjamin, and Isaac. He says they were corrupted by seditious literature, that they posed an immediate threat. Samuel always served with perfect loyalty. Catherine contacted Dr. Michael Chen at the Smithsonian. After seeing the enhanced photograph, he called back urgently. "Catherine, that appears to be a seal, a stamp for pressing wax seals on documents. Enslaved people who could read and write sometimes forged travel passes. A seal would make those documents appear official, one of the most valuable tools for planning escapes." He was documenting it in the photograph, Catherine realized. Preserving evidence where no one would think to look. It's extraordinary. Alabama archives showed the 4 men were sold to Nathaniel Crawford in Dallas County. One man, aged 27, was described as literate, skilled, potentially unreliable. In 1841, Crawford reported one had escaped, highly intelligent, educated, dangerous, known to possess forging capabilities. He was never recaptured. In Boston, Catherine found abolitionist records. A September 1841 letter from Quaker conductor Thomas Garrett mentioned, "Received a traveler from the Deep South, a man of remarkable education. He possesses skills in document creation that will prove invaluable." A Philadelphia ledger noted, "S. from Charleston, arrived October 1841, assisted in creating 23 sets of freedom papers, requested materials to return south." References appeared to someone working as a conductor in Charleston during 1842 to 1843, and 1843 notation read, "S. reports successful passage of 7 souls from Charleston. Thornton household compromised." Using multispectral analysis at the College of Charleston, they examined the seal closely. Letters emerged around its edge. W. Thornton, Oak Hill, Charleston. Samuel was holding William's official seal, Raymond said, emotion thick in his voice. documenting the tool he'd used to forge documents. He preserved that evidence in the family portrait. Catherine traced Samuel's network through Charleston records. Names emerged: Robert Blake, a free black barber; Hannah Pierce, who ran a boarding house; Daniel Washington, who worked the docks. Samuel's seal provided the missing link evidence of coordinated resistance. In the National Archives, she found an 1843 report. Escaped slave Samuel, previously property of Colonel Thornton, reportedly returned to Charleston, suspected of forging documents and aiding runaways. Multiple attempts to apprehend have failed. William Thornton's margin note read, "This man continues to evade capture and undermines proper order. He must be found." Samuel was never found. A post-Civil War record from July 1865 documented an interview. Spoke with Samuel, approximately 50 years of age, who worked as a conductor throughout the war years. Reports assisting approximately 40 individuals in reaching freedom between 1841 and 1865. Samuel had survived. He'd returned to Charleston and spent 24 years helping others find freedom while his former enslaver searched for him. The 1839 daguerreotype now hangs in the Charleston Museum's exhibition Hidden Resistance, Evidence in Plain Sight. Descendants gathered for the opening, including Grace Mitchell, whose ancestor escaped in 1842. "After all these generations, we know who saved our ancestor," Grace said through tears. The label reads, "The man standing at left, identified as Samuel, holds Colonel Thornton's official seal used to forge travel passes for enslaved people seeking liberty. After being sold for resistance activities, Samuel escaped, returned to Charleston, and spent 24 years as an Underground Railroad conductor. His inclusion of the seal represents extraordinary courage, hiding evidence of liberation in the one place his enslaver would never look, a treasured family portrait." Catherine looked at the photograph. Samuel's eyes seemed to stare across 186 years, filled with determination and defiance. In his hand was evidence that enslaved people were never passive victims. They were strategic resistors who fought for freedom with remarkable courage. The photograph, once a symbol of antebellum power, had become something entirely different. A testament to Samuel's resistance and victory, preserved where his enslaver would never think to examine.